some possible directions. So again, this work, you can have more of a read online. Some of my thinking has been guided by this idea of the ethical regulator theorem. So the fact that any rules of the system have to be guided by the purpose of the system, which people get to determine in these contexts of self-infrastructuring. And some suggested readings if you would like. And that's my final slide, so I'll stop speaking there. Thank you so much again for having me. I don't know if I have time. I'll confer to Andrew, but if there are questions and I do have time, feel free to voice.
Unfortunately, we need to move on, but thank you so much, Kelsey. That was really amazing insights. All right, so next we have Caesar and Natalie.
Hi, thank you so much, Soren, Elise, Andrew, everyone at GAEIA. It's a pleasure to be here and to share the research that we have been conducting. And let me share my screen. In this project, with me is Natalie Buslan, one of the researchers of this report. So maybe you want to introduce yourself, Natalie, and then I can continue.
Hi, hello. Yes, it's a pleasure. Thank you for the invitation and to listen to these wonderful panels. My name is Natalie Buslan. I'm PhD in social science, but I was working as postdoctoral researcher in the Barcelona Supercomputing Center regarding the social impact of AI, particularly in women and in the health area. And right now I am a senior advisor in UN and Women regarding the impact of gender, AI, and technology. So yeah, this is my background, and yes, Cesar, please.
Thank you, Natalie. And a little bit of my background. So I am currently a researcher and consultant. In my researcher consultant capacity, we are conducting this research. And in my other consultant capacity, I also work as FAIRLAB coordinator at the Inter-American Development Bank at the Innovation Lab, called IDB Lab as well. So this research is called Beyond the Algorithm, which aims at increasing the understanding that we have about fairness and non-discrimination in the field of hiring. No, so we want to look at the interactions of humans with these automated systems throughout this hiring process. And so we focus mostly in a very specific group of people, which is migrants from Latin American origin seeking for employment in Spain. No? So we are looking specifically at this community. Why? Mostly because of two things. First of all, migration is at the center of politics almost everywhere, is critical, the dynamics that happen there, and also critical for the people moving around and getting access to certain rights, no? One of which is decent employment, and the other is algorithmic fairness. No, we have been looking at the trends within the field of hiring, and I must say that perhaps is been one of the most regulated, or so far in the field. No, so we see Law 144 from the state of New York, no, called anti-discrimination. Anti-discrimination law, and within this piece of regulation, there's lots of emphasis in the field of hiring, and we have seen this with other pieces of legislation all over the world. No? So the next one is this one. So we want to take a socio-technical approach, meaning that we acknowledge that research that has been conducted specifically to test how algorithms discriminate against people. No, so there's pretty famous research conducted by Crystal Wilson from Northeastern University, for example, with the pi metrics, and lots of research in that respect, analyzing how, for example, certain algorithms designed to evaluate performance in certain jobs, how they perform with certain communities. No, we are not proposing this statistical approach, rather a more holistic view, trying to understand what are the perceptions of the people using these systems, the developers and the recruiters. So we're looking at these three audiences to better understand what is going on and how we can do better. The theoretical framework that we take is basically from two fields, social theory and the internet, emphasizing precisely this socio-technical dynamic behind the algorithms, acknowledging what other scholars have already presented, not that technology is not neutral, taking the concept of directed technical change by Acemoglu and Johnson. Maybe you have read the new book, Power and Progress. If not, highly recommended. And all the aspects related to fairness and non-discrimination. No? And with respect to critical theory, we take intersectionality because we want to understand how overlapping characteristics of individuals might end up in certain results, and positionality and situated knowledge to understand how these people perceive the effectiveness, the usefulness, the fairness of these systems based on their own personal experiences. No, so we have basically three research questions with sub-questions, but the first one is about the hiring process. We want to understand within the hiring process at what stages machine learning and artificial intelligence is being used, if any. So we want to understand deeper how technology is being developed, business and technological maturity, etc. Then we want to understand how these intersecting characteristics with respect to origin, gender, race, education, socioeconomic standing, etc. Create unique forms of algorithmic interaction, I put here. So I'm not taking for granted that there's discrimination, but we want to understand what happens now once these overlapping characteristics get together. And last but not least is we want to understand what are the visions, the narratives behind the development of all these technologies. No, so we want to understand exactly how these online platforms understand innovation, regulation, ethics, no, and how they see this rolling out in their product development and in the use of these platforms to getting people. No, so we have a couple of hypotheses that algorithmic fairness and non-discrimination might be at risk when you go very granular. No, with certain communities that is not mainstream. So then we also think that these groups might be facing some kind of discrimination or exclusion from these systems. And at last, with respect to the third research question, so how these narratives really contribute towards good and trustworthy development of technology. We have a mixed methodology. I'm not gonna dig into here, but basically we're mapping the process from job posting, profiling, checking resumes, resume scanning, candidate matching, etc., all the way through the interviewing process and the prediction of their performance of the people. No, so this is the process. We want to understand what platforms play a role at what stage of the hiring process. So we'll conduct this kind of assessment. And I'm gonna pass the word to my colleague Natalie, so she can explain a little bit more about the target.
I don't know. Yes, I don't know if we have time just
minute.
to mention that we have 3 groups. Just 1 minute. We have 3 groups that is the women from Latin America. We are focusing developers because, of course, it's very important to have the knowledge on how they develop the platform. And for the last group is the recruiters, human resources. So right now we are developing the focus groups and the different interviews. Yes, sorry. And the last thing is studies results, sorry, Cesar, is that there are different barriers that we need to consider. As it was present in the presentation before, we need to consider the offline barriers of digital access and so on and access, and also the online barrier that the people that need to understand how AI is developed and how affect women that are looking for job and so on. So we are open to question about our project. We want to improve practical
Natalie, thank you.
To understand them. Yes. Yes.
We are going to have to abruptly cut you off, and I'm terribly sorry about that, Natalie. I urge you to continue in the chat, and anyone to sort of pursue your really interesting work in the chat or elsewhere, or in the discussion towards the end. But unfortunately, we really have to follow our timeline here. So thank you very much, Cesar and Natalie.